Hello everybody, just a very quick how to use the GM Crafts reusable application tape. You'll find this on the website under the self-adhesive section, and then just look for the application tapes. This one in particular is reusable, and providing you put it back onto its carrier sheet when you've finished with it, you should be able to get another 8, possibly 10 more uses out of it, providing it's stored nice and correctly, doesn't accumulate dust, dog's hairs, cat hairs, etc. It's just a case of once you're finished with it, pop it back on there and put it in one of your GM Craft storage boxes and keep it out of the way. When you go to use it, I'm just going to show you the correct way of doing it, because some people maybe don't apply it quite correctly and then find a problem trying to get it off their project. So we've got our cut file here. I've trimmed a bit of the application tape down, because the transfer tape down, because I don't need an entire A4 sheet, so I'm just trimming that down. And then I'm just going to gently smooth over that, just to make sure there's no air bubbles in situ. And then what I'm going to do is turn this over to the reverse. Then the correct way is to then take your squeegee, or if you haven't got a squeegee, just use an old bank card, nectar card, whatever you've got in your purse or whatever, and then firmly push on the reverse of your self-adhesive decal. So one, you're pushing any air bubbles out from the center to the outer edges, but for second reason, you are then pushing the vinyl onto the carrier sheet, okay, to make that stick on there nice and easily. What you don't want to do is turn it back over and then start to press the other side. Otherwise, where you've now pressed that onto the carrier sheet, the transfer sheet, you then, if you then decide to press it from the front as well, you're pushing it all back onto the carrier sheet, and then you will have a problem in trying to get your decal off. So press from the back nice and firmly, leave it at that, and then take your design. And I always, for some reason, find it's better if you can actually peel it from a corner at an angle like that. And I also keep the paper at an angle, so I don't try and take it from the front. I'm doing it from the back, and I'm keeping that nice and low at an angle as I do it. And then you can then see just how well it's all coming off in one go. Okay, so that's the correct way to do that. When you come to apply it to your project, you've got a little bit of backing there, so I'll just remove that off. There we are. That's out of the way. When it comes to putting on your project, you do need to make sure the surface is nice and clean and dry. No dust, no grease, no fingerprints, nothing on like that at all. Now, the best way to do that is perhaps just to wash it in some soapy water, give it a good rinse, let it dry. But then, to really make sure your vinyl is going to stick well, wipe it down with some rubbing alcohol and leave that to air dry. Don't be tempted to dry it with a cloth, a tea towel, bit of kitchen towel, or anything like that, because they could all leave some fibres behind, which again, if you're working with some intricate fonts and lettering, that could just be the thing that stops your vinyl from sticking well to its surface. Also, you're best not to wash, have the final sort of wash in any washing up liquid. That again, as long with glass cleaner, that can all leave a film on the surface which can react to that adhesive, and again, you'll find it's not sticking well, you're wondering why it's coming off. That will be the surface preparation, which is very, very important with self-adhesive. So if it's nice and clean and dry, you shouldn't have any problem. So when you go to pop it on, just try and make sure that's nice and level. You pop your tape on, and again, just smooth that gently with your hand. Just make sure you've got no air bubbles there. And again, take your squeegee, take your bank card, and this time you're pressing on the front of your decal So now you are pressing the vinyl onto the surface of your project. So do it nice and hard. Again, if you press from the centre outwards, if you've got a design which has got any air bubbles, that'll soon come out. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take it from the corner and then tear that off. Again, keeping that sort of 45-degree angle. There's a few lifting there. I'm going to peel that off. Down the bottom there. So don't rush the peeling, slowly and surely. There's a few lifting. I'll let you into a secret. Actually, I didn't wash and prepare this bottle with rubbing alcohol, so that is actually proven my point that if you haven't prepared your surface correctly, it can lift. So I was a bit naughty in trying to cut corners, really. So if I'd have done that rubbing alcohol, there wouldn't have been any of this coming up at all. But so that's soon going down. Rubbing that over there. That's not too bad. Hopefully the video is showing okay. That's it was a job to get the perfect sort of place on the table because the sun is shining like it's the middle of summer through my window. So wasn't the perfect lighting. So that's now coming off there, and your transfers on there. Okay, so that's how to use the tape correctly, by just rubbing it only on the back and then transferring it to your nice project, which has all been prepared so spotlessly clean, and then rubbing on the vinyl onto your project to then take it off your transfer application tape onto your project. Hopefully that'll help some of you that have struggled with getting your application tape correct.